I always considered myself lucky. After all, how many people can say they were a night guard on Liberty Island, home to the iconic Statue of Liberty? It was a calm job, mostly spent patrolling and keeping an eye out for any vandals or overly ambitious tourists trying to sneak in after hours. But about 6 months into the job, I began to notice something odd. It started as a hunch, a gut feeling that something was amiss. The statue, as magnificent as she was during the day, took on a sinister aurora as night fell. One evening, as I was making my rounds, I swore I heard a faint whisper coming from the direction of the statue. I brushed it off as the wind playing tricks on me, but the whispers became more frequent. They were hushed, like someone trying to tell me a secret. I tried to locate the source, but it seemed to be coming from all around, as if the very air was trying to communicate with me. Then the footsteps started, heavy, methodical thuds echoing in the still night. They would start and stop randomly, but always from the vicinity of the statue. I tried to reason with myself, blaming it on the echo of my own steps or the nocturnal creatures of the island. But one night, the unbelievable happened. As I was standing near the base of the statue, looking up at her towering form, I felt a gust of wind so strong that it knocked me off my feet. The sky turned a deep shade of crimson, and the water surrounding the island began to churn violently. As I scrambled to my feet, I was paralyzed by what I saw. The Statue of Liberty had turned her head. Her once cold, unyielding eyes were now alive, glowing with a fiery rage. The torch she held aloft was blazing, casting an eerie light across the island. I could feel the heat from where I stood. Her lips, previously set in a serene expression, were now twisted into a grotesque snarl. The whispers grew louder, more insistent, forming discernible words. Freedom is a lie. This land is cursed. Over and over again, the words reverberating around me. I tried to run, but my legs wouldn't obey. I was rooted to the spot, helpless as the statue began to move. First, her fingers twitched, then her hand tightened around the tablet she held. She took a step forward, the ground shaking with impact. Her movements were jerky, like a marionette being controlled by an unseen puppeteer. I watched in horror as she descended from her pedestal, her massive form looming over me. She reached out with a swift motion, grabbed a group of trees, uprooting them effortlessly. She began tearing the island apart, her anger palpable. Birds took flight in panic, and the waters around the island boiled and frothed. As she neared me, I could see the details of her face more clearly. Her eyes were deep pits of despair, and her mouth was filled with sharp, jagged teeth. It was as if she was not just a statue, but a monstrous creature, imprisoned in stone and now set free. She leaned down, her face inches from mine. I could feel the heat from her breath, smelling of sulfur and decay. The whispers were deafening now, a cacophony of voices screaming in agony. Just when I thought it was the end, a blinding light enveloped me. I felt a sharp pain, and then everything went black. I awoke to the sound of birds chirping and the gentle lapping of waters against the shore. The sun was shining brightly, and the Statue of Liberty stood tall and majestic in her usual spot, as if nothing had happened. But the island was in ruins, trees uprooted, pathways destroyed, and the smell of burnt grass lingered in the air. I quit my job that day, unable to face the statue again. I moved far away from New York, trying to put the horrific events behind me, but the nightmares persisted every night. I would relive the terror, waking up in a cold sweat. People say I imagined it all, that it was just a figment of my overactive imagination, but I know what I saw. I bear the scars, both physical and mental. The Statue of Liberty might be a symbol of freedom and hope to many, but to me, she will always be a reminder of the night when Liberty came to life and unleashed her fury. Months had passed since that harrowing night, but its memories were branded into my psyche. The scars on my arms, remnants of the intense heat from that blazing torch, served as a daily reminder. I had moved to a remote town in Maine, hoping the quiet would help me heal. But my dreams were a constant playback of that night. One evening, as I sat on my porch staring blankly at the setting sun, an elderly woman approached. Her face was lined with age, but her eyes held a sharpness that belied her years. She introduced herself as Alara, a historian with a particular interest in ancient curses. "I know your encounter on Liberty Island," she began without preamble. I tensed, ready to dismiss her as another sensationalist, but something in her gaze made me hold back. "The Statue of Liberty," she continued, "is not just a symbol of freedom. It's an ancient guardian created to protect this land. But like all guardians, she too can be corrupted." Alara went on to explain that the statue was built atop of an ancient burial ground of a forgotten tribe. This tribe had entrusted their most powerful shamans to guard the land even in death. Their spirits bound to the statue were the source of its power. Over the years, Alara said, the spirits grew restless, witnessing the desecration of their land. Your encounter was not an isolated incident, but accumulation of years of suppressed rage. As I listened, a mixture of disbelief and dread filled me. "Why come to me?" I asked. "Because," Alara replied, "you've been chosen. The spirits have marked you. Only you can quell their anger and prevent further destruction." Alara handed me an old leather-bound book, its pages yellow with age. It was filled with rituals, chants, and symbols. She explained that I needed to perform a purification ceremony on Liberty Island during the next full moon. The process would not be easy, and the spirits would resist, but it was the only way to pacify them. Over the next few weeks, I immersed myself in the book, learning and practicing the rituals. Alara guided me, her knowledge of the arcane arts evident. As the day of the full moon approached, I felt a growing unease. The dreams intensified, and I could feel the spirit's presence around me, watching, waiting. On the night of the ceremony, Alara and I made our way to Liberty Island. The statue loomed in the moonlight, its silhouette casting eerie shadows on the ground. As we approached, a chilling wind picked up, and the whispers returned, this time louder and more insistent. We set up an altar at the base of the statue, lighting candles and placing sacred objects. Alara began chanting, her voice resonant in the still night. I joined in, the words flowing from me as if I'd known them my whole life. The ground trembled, and the statue began to move. Its eyes glowed, and the torch blazed once more. The spirits, feeling threatened, were retaliating. But we persisted, our voices rising above the chaos, the chants becoming a more powerful force. Suddenly, a blinding light emitted from the statue, illuminating the entire island. I could see the spirits, their ethereal forms withering in pain and anger. They circled us, their faces contorting in rage. But as the chants reached a crescendo, one by one, they began to dissipate, their forms merging with the statue. The light grew even brighter, and then, in an explosive burst, it vanished. The island was plunged into darkness, the only light coming from the candles on our altar. The statue stood still, its torch extinguished. Exhausted, we collapsed to the ground, the weight of our ordeal pressing down on us. As dawn broke, Alara and I made our ways back to mainland. The city was oblivious to the events of the night, but we knew the truth. Alara left soon after, her mission complete. But before she went, she handed me the leather-bound book. "Guard this," she said. "The spirits are at rest now, but who knows when they might awaken again." I returned to my quiet life in Maine, the book my constant companion. The scars on my arms faded, but the memories remained, a testament to the night when I faced the wrath of the ancient spirits and emerged victorious. The Statue of Liberty stands tall, a beacon of hope and freedom. But to those who know, she is also a guardian, a protector of the land and its secrets. And as long as I live, I will ensure that her slumber remains undisturbed. Thank you for listening to I'm a Guard on Liberty Island, and I can hear Lady Liberty's whispers. If you enjoyed this story, please leave a like, and if you enjoy hearing stories from me, please subscribe and become a resident of Hill Street, and let me know how I'm doing in the comments. And I hope all of you Have a fantastic night.